So you began your spring season with two matches over the weekend. How do you kind of assess where your team's at following those competitions?
Yeah. The highlight of the weekend was beating Bethel. That came down to just a few matches. So we started out, we took the doubles point, 1 and 2 doubles. Really played well in that. I thought our intensity was good, and we're clutch in the big moments. So when you start out ahead 1-0, you head into the singles only needing a split, and I knew it would be very close the whole way. We had to win some close matches to do that. Jeff Miller was the last on the court and finished it out. I don't know that he knew the meet was on the line, but he was just all business and served that thing out. Landon Murch, who's a freshman for us, who's playing 5 singles, he had a win where he was really trailing in the tiebreak. Was down 5-9 at one point, which meant he needed to win 4 in a row to keep himself alive, and he did that. Played really clutch throughout that tiebreaker and pulled that out. And then also got a win from Milan Lecic, and that means both our freshmen won. 2 of our freshmen won at 5 and 6 singles there to help us out, and Jeff got the win in singles. So we've never beaten Bethel before. On the men's side, we didn't even check the win, but we've never beaten them before, so that was big for us to get that win there. St. Scholastica was really good competition for us. I think, so we lost that 2-5, but I think that was a really good one for us where, they won, but we got pushed in a lot of places, and a really good early season match. In terms of, the guys, you kind of get a vibe for how they are as a team, especially when you travel and they spend a lot of time together. Just a really good group to be around, and they're enjoying each other. So we came back during the Super Bowl, and they were watching that on a computer and talking about that on the way. And they came back, and I dropped them off, and one of the parents of the guys that didn't travel had provided Cane's chicken, so they had a Super Bowl party when they got back too. So I thought we're in a good spot, tennis-wise and off the court too.
You've had some limited competition this fall. What can you bring from that to this spring?
Yeah. I love how the men get tournament opportunities in the fall. It's a really good chance for returners to show ways they've grown, for new players to show where they might fit. So we had some guys make runs in those tournaments, and we can decide kind of the bracket that they're in, so I can place them and say, I think they fit best in here, and then they can prove me wrong. They can do really well and beat some opponents, and in the ARC tournament, they might play varsity players from other schools, and so we can kind of see how they stack up with them. So I think it's a really good opportunity to get my attention in terms of, okay, when we get back to the spring, who already showed what they can do in a match situation. So make sure these guys are getting good looks at, do they belong in this varsity lineup? And then the other component is just that the guys get to spend 5 weeks practicing in the fall. And when I was in college, I think we did 2 weeks or something like that. And so the amount that they know each other and know my expectations, and even things like they've got a good rhythm of who they're going to play with, it really sets us up well for the off season. And then we also got a couple of duels in, so they get their feet wet right away. With the matches that we just played this weekend, they already kind of know the rhythm because they've done this before.
Lucas Huffman, the all-time winningest singles and doubles, graduated, but Cade Davis is back for a 5th season.
Yep.
How have you seen him grow in that leadership role, or
Yeah.
what contributed to his decision to come back for a 5th year?
Yeah, Cade loves tennis, and he loves to compete. And we talked about this kind of going through the spring season, and from a couple of angles. The easy angle is when you leave here, you'll never get to do this again. And so he felt that it wasn't even unfinished business. It was just, do you want to start this next part of your life, which will last the rest of it, or do you want to do this once more? And he really wanted to do this once more, but he and myself and his parents too really talked through about making sure that if he comes back, it's not just all for fun, that he gets something good out of it. So he got set up, and now he's working with the athletic director and at Waverly Shell Rock. So he's doing some things there. He's coaching freshman basketball, which I think has been really good for his experience. I just see little things from him now where I can tell he's looking a little bit more at from a coach's perspective, which happens even as an assistant of the freshman basketball team at Waverly Shell Rock, you know. So Cade's strength as a leader is big time his ability to just make the players feel included in, you know, from freshman to senior, that everybody feels confident and comfortable talking to our number one player and a fifth-year senior on our team. So he's very good for us gelling. Yeah. As a player, Cade, when he came into college, I mean, he's grown so much, and now when he's taking on these top competition, like these really good players, I now see confidence that he believes and knows that he belongs with them. And so earlier in his career, he might play differently, and you could tell how he might be feeling with pressure. Now I think he mostly plays the same. So he's just confident, comfortable, and expects to go take on every college's best player.
What are some things you preach to the team in preparation for this season?
Yeah. So a few things that come to mind with that. Tennis specifically, I think that getting points started is critical. Putting returns on the court, getting yourself in a good situation with your serve. You know, it's every single, with serves and returns, you're deciding who is in control or who is in trouble at the beginning of every point. At the college level, if you're serving, you have an advantage, and we want to use that. If we are returning, we want to try to neutralize that advantage early. So that's something they hear from me a lot. Another thing is, you don't actually hit the ball where you're aiming it, almost ever. It's very hard to hit a spot. So you're going to hit it somewhere in a cloud nearby where you're aiming. That cloud gets bigger the more that the shot is hard to control that came at you, and that cloud gets bigger or smaller depending on your ability level. But it's choosing targets where when you miss, which you will, the ball is still in the court. And when you miss toward the line, the shot gets better. So it's picking really smart targets that you can hit the ball confidently to. Because so much about tennis, when you swing confidently, it's totally different. So we want to pick targets that you can swing and have no fear you're going to miss because you're hitting to a very smart target. And then the last thing that is strong in my mind is when adversity comes, or when things don't go your way, behaving based on principle, based on who you want to be, not on how you feel in that exact moment. So that is just how we stay tough, stay steady even when rough things are happening, or because we will get frustrated. And if you show your opponent that you're breaking down, it just gives them more strength and hope, and also sends yourself not a good message. I just tell them, think of someone you really respect and how would they behave if they were frustrated with something, because most of them would be able to take that in stride and behave in a way they're proud of, even in the moments that are challenging.
With the American Rivers Conference preseason poll this season, you guys were picked fourth. What's your outlook for the conference for the rest of the year?
I think we're probably closest to Central, and then it was Loris below us.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sounds close to right. I think that Co and Luther, I say this into this microphone every year, but they're going to be strong. We have been closer to them in recent years than we have been when I first started, but it will take a very good performance to challenge those teams. But our guys, they'll be ready for it. I think the meet with Central will be really good. I think we'll look forward to that. I think that they'll look forward to that. And I think that some of these other so Loris is always one that the polls have us favored in, but we look forward to that one as well because we know it'll be competitive. Who is next? Was it Wesleyan?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of the same thing, right? So up and down, and even like schools, university, Dubuque got a new coach, so they've added some depth and some players. Buena Vista's added some depth and players. They really surprised me last year, so we always want the conference to be deep and strong, so that when we win, it's rewarding.
Good luck this season.
Thank you.